Low, come up on stage. Hi, introduce yourself.
My name is Kenneth and I'm the co-founder of Arcadier. And we build online marketplaces for people. So anyone who wants a marketplace, you want to build your own Airbnb and all, we allow you to do it in minutes. So we have a booth at the Startup Alley. So happy for you to come down and see us there.
That's right. So if you're very interested in e-commerce, take a seat. And all like setting up your own marketplace online. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Carousel actually. Yeah, so maybe we could talk more about marketplace online and everyone can learn a bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Can you tell us what is online marketplace, Kenneth?
Yeah, well, I think before I actually start talking about online marketplaces, I think it's very important to establish that marketplaces is not a new concept. In fact, we've always been in marketplaces. Where we are today is a marketplace.
Right.
Definitely.
It is about many buyers and many sellers meeting together. It's about collective buying. So if you really think about it, your wet markets, your shopping malls, where many of these shops are together, that's collective buying, and that's actually a marketplace.
Right.
So when you really think about it, in terms of what online is, it's just bringing that experience of a marketplace such as this into the digital world. So it's actually digitization of what is usually marketplaces. So most of us would think about marketplaces in the area of Lazada, eBay, Amazon, where there's many buyers meeting many sellers, buying retail items.
Actually, online shopping.
Online shopping.
Especially this
yeah.
Black Friday.
Correct.
Yeah.
But actually, because it's all about many buyers and many sellers, Airbnb is a marketplace, Uber is a marketplace, Grab is a marketplace,
Right.
Food Panda is also a marketplace. So all these are actually essentially marketplaces. But I think more important to define what's a marketplace and what is a online classifieds, right? So by definition, online marketplaces usually comes with online payments, whether you pay with PayPal or other kinds of online payments enabled into the system itself. So like eBay, you actually have an online payment. And online classifieds. Online classifieds are different from online marketplaces. Online classifieds, you don't actually pay online.
Okay.
You actually list your items and people contact you and you pay offline.
Is that like Carousel? Or?
So essentially carousels and online classifieds, that's not different from Gumtree and not different from Craigslist. So that's the pure definition of what an online marketplace is.
I see. So could you let us know, it's very interesting this whole online marketplace, bringing the marketplace to the virtual world in a sense. So what are the recent developments in e-commerce, in particular in these marketplaces in the last two decades?
yeah.
Okay, well, last 2 decades, then let's go back 2 decades. So from 1995 to 2000, you actually saw the rise of e-commerce, the first e-commerce run, where you saw all these big organizations creating big marketplaces like your eBay, your Amazons. At the same time, everybody wanted an online shop. So right now, there's estimated 12 billion to 24 million online shops
Wow.
in the world.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, and we only shop on a
Yes.
few. And after that, there was a dot-com bust. So 2001, everything went into pieces. But the interesting things about Amazon and eBay, they actually survived for a very long time. And when eBay started, it was about auctions. It's an online auction.
Right.
And now they sell everything from cars to baby goods to comics and everything, same as Amazon. Amazon was online books. And now you can buy basically anything on Amazon. So by definition, the technical terminology for them is that they are horizontal marketplaces. Means they cover a big spectrum of items. And they actually dictate the era between 1995 and 2001.
I see. So you mentioned that Amazon was one of the first to come. I realized Amazon is even coming to Singapore.
Yes, it is coming to
Amazon is
Singapore.
coming to Singapore. I don't know who's excited about that, but I'm quite excited about that. So if you were talking about the recent trends, so yeah, what are the
recent trends in the marketplace now?
Okay, so if you really look at what has happened since 2009 till today, you see that there's a huge boom in terms of marketplaces. E-commerce was all about marketplaces right now. And you hear names like Airbnb, Uber, Foodpanda, Deliveroo, GoGoVan, and all these other different companies they are what we call vertical marketplaces. So what has now become a trend is that there are more and more marketplaces that are specific for a particular use case. If I want a car, I go to Uber. I want food delivered to me, I go to Foodpanda or Deliveroo.
Okay.
I want accommodations, I go to Home Away or Airbnb. So they're very, very specific to a particular industry or a particular utility or use case. So from 2009 till now, what you see is that marketplaces which were usually horizontal have become very, very, very narrow. And this era is also where you see a lot of these marketplaces are what you call peer-to-peer marketplaces. It's about the community. It's about community sharing. You have the retail ones like Etsy.com, which is essentially a community of arts and crafts. They're very focused, they're retail, but the arts and craft. Then of course you have Uber and Airbnb, which are very focused on peer-to-peer rental of accommodations or rental of cars, like taxis.
Which have been very popular.
Yeah, on the face of it, they look like companies that are trying to challenge the traditional status quo of industry. So Airbnb is challenging the hotel industry, disrupting them. Uber and Grab is challenging the taxi industry and really challenging them. But I think the true value of them is the fact that because they're peer-to-peer, there is a very good green theme around them, meaning that they fundamentally allow people to use underutilized assets, maximize that. So before online marketplaces enable anyone to discover underutilized rooms and apartments, you never know that your neighbor has an empty apartment.
That's true.
So that actually adds a lot of value in terms of a global green agenda where you actually maximize underutilized assets in that sense. I think this whole concept of what we call the sharing economy is really the way to go.
I see you talked about Airbnb, all these Uber. So actually, they are kind of taking businesses away from the traditional kind of marketplaces. So could we talk about what caused this current wave of what we call the disruption economy? So when you disrupt all this new technology, disrupting what is commonplace in the past. So could you tell us a little bit more about what caused these disruptions?
Yeah, so there are a lot of articles and even Harvard Business Reviews. Everyone is talking about what caused the rise of vertical marketplaces, and more people talk about what's caused the rise of the sharing economy per se. But I think it really boils down to two things that I think has actually caused this consolidation into very vertical marketplaces. There are two. The first one that I think has caused this wave of disruption is the fact that now you have 12 to 24 million online e-commerce sites. And actually, I think the number is actually even bigger than that.
Yeah.
So how are you going to get discovered? Like you say, wow, 24 million, how am I going to be discovered? So even if I have an online site out there, nobody's going to find me. Who's the biggest winner of all this? It's going to be Google, your Facebook advertising, search engine marketing, where you want to rank to the first page. But of all 24 million, there's only 20 that can actually go to the first page. So the biggest winner of the span of growth of online shops out there, and every merchant his own shop, is really the search engines. They are the ones really winning in the terms of the markets. Some merchants, many of the merchants do not even get discovered. Nobody ever visits their e-commerce site. So that's one reason why merchants realize that if I'm alone as a shop, I will never be discovered. Why should I do that? Why shouldn't I be part of Lazada or part of eBay, where I can be collectively discovered? And because Lazada, everybody will come to a fair like this because you want to be with want to have a look at all the comparison of the prices that surround of all the different vendors. It's the same concept as Simlim. You go there to look for your computers. So being part of a community like a marketplace is a result of that whole big 10-year cycle of everybody building their own e-commerce store. I think the second reason why you see also verticalized marketplaces as to why there's an Uber for cars, Airbnb for accommodations, and then food delivery and all the other examples. It's because of the growth of the mobile phone. So the mobile phone essentially is a computer.
That's right.
If you really think about it, we surf, we actually do all our computering, we even do internet banking on it.
Some people can't live
Yeah.
without their phone.
Yes, yeah. Most people don't even search on your desktop anymore. Like 80%, 90% of Facebook's content and the way that they actually discover is all through the mobile phone.
Mobile phone, yeah.
So because the mobile phone is so tiny, you want to get to what you want very quickly. You want to search things. So if you're looking at eBay and Amazon, where it's horizontal marketplaces, there's all the categories. When you open a category, the category will cover the whole screen. You can't even search properly. So because of that, that also created more vertical. I want to do something. I want to get it quick. Therefore, it also created very verticalized marketplaces for specific use cases. So I do believe these are the two reasons why there is this growth out there.
Disruption of, yeah.
Right. Kenneth, where is the growth of marketplaces heading now?
I think it will continue to grow at a very exponential rate. I think it's just going to be more and more and more of this you see, and the use cases will be very interesting out there. So what you'll see is that they'll become what we call more hyper-local and hyper-vertical. Means it's very specific for use case and very specific to a city or a country. So for instance, you have Honest Bee, which all of us know are assisted shopping. And Honest Bee is assisted shopping help you to buy things in the supermarket, but for Singapore only. And then you have Gao Din, which is actually domestic services, but only for Malaysia. And then when you are in Indonesia, you want to travel, you go to Gojek. So they're very specific to very specific countries, specific use cases, and you'll get more and more narrow. So you will see a proliferation of marketplaces because they are actually targeting any use case. And interestingly, there's even one that just launched recently called PinPic. Essentially, it's photograph sharing
Oh, okay.
between people for only Singapore. So that will actually disrupt people like Shutterstock.
That's
So
true, that's
you will
true.
see more and more of these very unusual gown rental, where women can rent their nightgowns to other women because you only can buy one expensive one. So all these really strange marketplaces will appear and they'll be very local to a particular city.
Oh, okay. So just to summarize what you said, you mentioned that now e-commerce, people are more focused rather than trying to get like the masses. They're trying to focus more on like a single market because it's more profitable.
Yeah, it's also more accessible as well when
Uh-huh.
you're focused on a single market and you can serve your community better. And every country is very different. You have very different issues in the market. So for instance, Gojek in Indonesia, you have Lady Jack, with an app where the Gojek cars only ferry females because of safety in the country. So sometimes some of the local nuances actually cause that. Like labor is expensive here, and then people's time is also busy. That's why you have Honest Bee where people go and do your supermarket shopping for you. But does that happen in India? Or probably not, because people find that they are more time crunch in Singapore. So the use case also depends on what country.
That's true. And also on the topic of that, do you think that online marketplaces are only purely for profit generating e-commerce? Because we see a lot of e-commerce right now. I think, is it all about profiting and making money?
Yeah, so you always hear of all these big multi-billion-dollar companies and all these startups actually creating marketplaces for that. But I really believe like internet banking to banking, now you don't actually need to walk into a bank, you can actually do your banking on the internet. I think that's also the value, the true value of online marketplaces platform is actually marketplaces as a utility. Because marketplaces is actually digitization of something like this. So do we actually need a fair like this all the time, or can SITEX be an online fair?
Wow,
And we
looking
can
to the
buy
future.
and
Yeah,
pick up,
that's something to think about now.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot of resources being spent on a show like this. In fact, physical resources that, using digital like online marketplace, you can actually have a SITEX fair online, for instance. So the value of marketplaces as a collective buying, I think is really beyond setting up the Uber or the next Airbnb and trying to be the biggest billion-dollar entity. I think the value of online digital marketplace is actually to use it as utility. Why can't schools use it instead of having school fun fair? You can do a school online marketplace where the merchants are the classes.
Wow.
Yeah, churches, you know, for
Yeah.
fundraising.
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest size of the price is largely also with B2B wholesale. You have Pasir Panjang wholesale market where all of them come in.
Right.
Why can't you have B2B wholesale also on digitized? So I think the value of the platform is really where it's used as a real utility, because marketplaces essentially would bring people together. It has price transparency, because online payments are so advanced now that it can actually have ease of payment. So disrupt all the trade credits and all the credit notes and all those things with an online marketplace. It's so easy to do that
It
now.
really does sound like we're living in very exciting times.
Yeah, it is very exciting times.
So, do you have any closing? Where are you located, by the way? Just let them know once again.
Right now we are at the Startup Alley over
Startup
there.
Alley, okay.
Yeah, so we actually have off-the-shelf marketplace for anyone to use, and
Okay.
it's free until February. Because of this fair, we extended the free trial period for people to create their own marketplace for their own community.
So people who are interested in creating their own e-commerce site, you can head on down to your booth, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Alright, and one last question. So what is the new era of technology? What is needed to support the growing trend in all these marketplaces?
Yeah, so we had a lot of thinking around that with Arcadier. We used to only build big marketplaces for people. Someone want to copy an eBay, can you build it for us? We say sure. And then someone wants to build a Alibaba copy out of China, can you do that? We can. But where we saw the real value, because we truly believe in the technology, is that you should make it very simple for anyone to use. The student unions, the class
Right.
student council to run class fundraising, or maybe a condo wants their own carousel, but it's only for the condo
that's interesting,
transactions.
actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
possible.
it's
We've been
interesting.
asked by a few condos, can I have something like that for my own condo?
Wow.
So we thought that it's very important that the technology remains cheap, and a lot of these people don't understand technology as a coder or developer. So what we feel is that why should it be expensive, and why should it be only for people who knows technology, where you need a developer to develop that? It should be easy for anyone if we really believe in the true value of the technology. So in Arcadia, we actually launched a self-serve model. It's almost like your Shopify or your BigCommerce, where you can create your own online sites. We are the world's first proprietary system that we have actually created ability for you to create your own marketplace, whether your own copy of Airbnb or your own copy of Lazada, in a matter of minutes. You just have to go through the flow and you create, but obviously you still have to acquire your own merchants to sell,
Right.
which could be your own friends, for instance. So that's where we see the trend going, and we're very supportive of the technology being accessible to anyone who needs it. Yeah.
That's right. So if you are interested in making your own site, going e-commerce, because e-commerce is such a booming industry right now, and if you want to be a part of it, I mean, hey, Kenneth says go for it, right?
All right, thank you very
Alright.
much, Kenneth, for giving us an insight on the rise of marketplace and the future of e-commerce.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
very much. Thank you. Let's give a nice round of applause, everybody.
Alright, yes, and once
Okay.
again, if you want to check out this e-commerce site, go on down to the Arcadia booth. Is that right, Kenneth?
Yeah, so we are over there at the SITEX Innovation Alley.
That's right. Kenneth's a very,
For
very
us.
friendly speaker.
Right, we're going
so-
to give away the NTUC voucher.